Ma'am, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Welcome.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning.
Ma'am, we can start, ma'am.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, ma'am. So, very good morning to one and all present here. So, I welcome you all for the 3 days faculty development program on advanced research methodology. So, organized by Department of Civil Engineering, Dr. NGP Institute of Technology, in association with the Institution of Engineers India, Coimbatore Center. So now I welcome Dr. P. Muthupriya ma'am, Head of the Department, Department of Civil Engineering, Dr. NGP Institute of Technology, to give the welcome address.
Good morning, Dr. Johnson.
Good morning.
Myself, Dr. Prabha, heading the institution, sir. Very nice to meet you.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you. Yeah, Dr. Muthupriya, please proceed.
Okay.
You can turn on your video as well. Yeah.
A very good morning to one and all present here. I am really privileged to have the pleasant task of welcoming the distinguished gathering for today's inauguration on the occasion of Faculty Development Program on Advanced Research Methodology. I would like to thank our management, Chairman Dr. Nallaji Palanisamy, and the respected Secretary Dr. Davamani Devi Palanisamy, Chief Executive Officer Dr. O.T. Bhuvaneshwaran, and our respected Principal Dr. S.U. Prabha for permitting and motivating us to conduct this faculty development program. They have supported very well in all aspects for successfully organizing this faculty development program. On behalf of Department of Civil Engineering, Dr. NGP Institute of Technology, on my own behalf, I warmly and respectfully welcome our today's chief guest, Professor Dr. Johnson Alengaram, Associate Professor, Director, Center for Innovative Construction Technology, Department of Civil Engineering, University of Malaya, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I am really welcome our most respected principal, Dr. S.U. Prabha, for this faculty development program on advanced research methodology. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam, for your time, guidance, and presence. Also, I want to mention the other two speakers who accepted to deliver keynote address in this 3 days faculty development program. Professor Khalifa Al-Zabri, Professor, Department of Civil and Architectural Engineering, College of Engineering, Sultan Qubas University, Oman, and Dr. S. Sansanwal, former Head and Dean, Department of Education, Devi Ahilya University, Nalanda Campus, Indore, India. Thank you, sirs, for your acceptance. We are really honored. I am very much pleased in welcoming other department heads and directors and all the faculty members for this faculty development program on research methodology. Also, I would like to welcome all the participants from various parts of India and Tamil Nadu. Your participation is our success. Thank you all. I hope this FDP will enable you to acquire a strong idea and base for research and its outcomes. Definitely, this program is going to be a great and beneficial program for all the participants. And I would like to mention the schedule. So today's speaker, Professor Johnson Alengaram, Associate Professor, University of Malaya, will deliver on research without borders, exemplification of sporting research to ramification. Next, tomorrow, the speaker, Khalifa Al-Zabri, will deliver on technology transfer from research to entrepreneurship. And third day speaker, Sansanwal, former Head and Dean, University of Education, Devi Ahilya University, will deliver on improving quality of research. And finally, once again, I would like to welcome all of you for this 3 days FDP. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So now I welcome our principal, ma'am, Dr. S.U. Prabha, ma'am, to give the presentation address.
Happy morning to all of you. So today, all of us are here in order to understand some of the concepts underlying principles of civil engineering department. First and foremost, I take the opportunity to welcome our chief guest of today, Dr. Johnson, University of Malaya, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Fondly, I remember, sir, I wanted to share with you and also to the audience. I was attached with the Multimedia University, Malaysia, Malacca campus from 2002 until 2012. And I have a very great experience at Malaysia, and I fondly remember those days when I was there working as a faculty, attached with Faculty of Engineering and Technology. Uh, and this FDP has been organized for the benefit of faculty members, and my appreciation to the Department of Civil Engineering and Institution of Engineers India to identify the speakers who are having rich experience in their respective domain. And I wish all the very best to the Department of Civil Engineering of Dr. NGP iTech. And this FDP on advanced research methodology will definitely give lots and lots of insights to all the participants. So it is a very, very welcoming attitude of the participants to get registered in such kind of programs and getting equipped yourself as far as your domain knowledge is concerned. And we have to accept the fact that the charm of the core engineering departments are slightly falling down. And it is the responsibility of the faculty members to get equipped themselves as far as the latest technologies in your respective domain, and incorporate the new research methodologies and things in order to explore well in your domain of interest. With these few words, I once again, on behalf of the management and on my own behalf, I take the opportunity to welcome our chief guest today, Dr. Johnson, Dr. Muthupriya, who has been keenly working with IE India to make this program successful, along with her team of faculty members. Also, all the heads of the departments who have been supportive in each and every action that is being taking place at the institution, and all the participants who have passionately registered for this 3 days faculty development program. I am very sure that these 3 days will give you some insights as far as the advanced research methodology in your own competency domain, and you will gain some outcomes at the end of the program. Thank you, Mr. Vignesh, for acting as the MOC, and thanks to each and every one of you, and let your learning gives you lots and lots of success in your professional career. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
So thank you so much, ma'am. So it gives me an immense pleasure to introduce today's chief guest. So Associate Professor, so Dr.U. Johnson Alengaram, sir. So he is presently the Director of Center for Innovative Construction Technology, so Department of Civil Engineering, Faculty of Engineering, University of Malaya, Kuala Lumpur, so Malaysia. So he has been in the construction, academic and research for over 20 years. He is also Chartered Civil Engineers as he is certified by the Engineering Council UK and Institution of Civil Engineers UK. He is also member of Institution of Engineers Malaysia. He has been involved in research and consultancy projects of local and international companies to solve some of the impending problems. So Professor Johnson, sir, has published 100 journals articles in referred journals of Web of Science and H Index of Journals 31 and 26 Web of Science journals. So he contributed to academic and research areas in following capacities. So as a reviewer of many high impact journals, so member of editorial board of journals, so research committee, principal investigators, secretary, head of advisory committee, head of the industrial relations, so examiner for masters and doctoral research thesis and visiting professors. So he was also chair of National Committee on Standard of SIRIM committee for eco-labeling of criteria of reused byproduct of aggregates and International Conference on Concrete Engineering and Technology 2018. So his notable projects as a project director include the utilization of oil form cells as a coarse aggregate in a blast and impact resistant concrete. So incorporation of local industrial byproducts as building materials in the construction of low cost greenhouse and in the ongoing and cement-free construction of shelters for drivers. So he has appointed as the head scientific associate and invited by University of Nantes, France and Beijing Institute of Technology, Beijing, China to involve in collaborative research. So he has been invited by various universities in different countries to give research talks. So further, Professor Johnson is the head of Malaysian partners under the Newton Hook Homer projects joint venture between the government of Malaysia and the United Kingdom. So he also a recipient of Excellence Award multiple times from the University of Malaya from exemplary service and received gold medal in the International Innovation Technology of in Malaysia. So under award for the industries research and demonstrations. So I welcome you, sir, once again. So kindly take over the session, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Kumar, for the vast introduction. At the outset, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to your management. In fact, I fondly remember Dr. Davapani when she was at the airport in Kuala Lumpur International Airport a few years back when she visited. So I would like to express my gratitude to Dr. Nalla G. Palanisamy, Chairman of KMCH, Dr. Davamani Palanisamy, Secretary of your institution, Chief Executive, Dr. Bhuvaneshwaran, and of course, Principal, Dr. Prabha, who mentioned that she was in Malaysia for over 10 years and got a very rich experience on research, more than others, some of us. So thank you, Principal, and your leadership. I'm sure your institution will grow from one stage to the next stage. And also, I'm grateful to Dr. Muthu Priya. Priya has been, I think, wonderful leader, organizer, and enthusiast. She always tries to motivate others. I feel she's an asset to the institution. So, head of the Department of Civil Engineering, NGPIT, Professor Priya, I'm actually thank you also, and those who have been working along with you. So, I'm thankful to everyone for this organizing this. Just a few words because I'm going to continue. So, the good news is that I will finish my this chief guest address in a couple of minutes or a few minutes. But the bad news is you have to be put up with me for another couple of hours for listening to me, because I will go through some of the important aspects which might be useful for some of you. I thought this is mostly from your institution, but I see from the list, probably they are from different states. So I can't speak in Tamil. Probably I have to restrict to only English. So please bear with me. I don't know if you are able to hear my voice clearly.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's audible, sir.
Thank you very much. First of all, when I was in France, probably 2076, 5 years back, I happened to meet some of the students. I brought some of the materials with me. When I was explaining to them about the ongoing research in University Malaya, then after the session was over, they came to me and said, "Oh, we don't know about this kind of research. We want to, see whether we can visit yours." Then they came all the way from France to be with us for 3 months and learn a lot of things. They were so blessed. So when I was thinking about them, or students from India, I think SSN College of Engineering in Coimbatore, they also visited us, probably 15 of them, including staff. Then students from China, Morocco, Algeria, or other countries, some of them, they came here to Malaysia to just learn. And we also tell them, we also learn from you. Because the research is something that it's not from just one person. It's all interlinked between one person to another. Over the years, we developed research. It's not that what 1 year you can have your research output. It takes a lot of efforts. From nowhere, you have to go step by step. So research is a very important category in projecting our universities or institutions to the highest caliber. For example, look at China. They want to take over from America. You look at the Harvard University or MIT or any other top university, Oxford or Cambridge, all these universities, even National University of Singapore, they're all in the top caliber. I think it's very difficult to reach out to them. It's not easy even to go and communicate with some of the professors because they are very highly esteemed professors. Where are we? Do we have enough appetite? Do we have enough thirst for research? I was in China many times. When I went to different universities, they have upgraded to the levels that we can't imagine. I was visiting one university called Tianjin University. The laboratory alone, one laboratory alone, probably a few hundred meters. And they have all the facilities. And when I look at these facilities and this kind of infrastructure, latest sophisticated, advanced technological equipments, with that, infusing the knowledge, research knowledge to the academics, young academics, that's where the success starts. So I would encourage those who are in this meeting today. Research is not an easy job. It's a tough. It requires sacrifices. It requires more and more patience. And sometimes, it requires a lot of facilities. Most of the research requires advanced facilities. But with the available facilities, can we have some successful research and outputs? That should be our thought today, because we don't have all the facilities in India, in all the institutions, I mean. Of course, we have IITs, we have regional engineering college those days, now it's converted to NITs. And there are many IITs coming up and many research centers by the federal government, central government. So we need to see how we can utilize those for our advantage. Today after this, I will be explaining some of the features and how, because my title is quite difficult for you, some of you to understand. Maybe I just put it in a simplified manner later on. From a material to a product, that's what I mean. And it can be through physical product, it can be through a research publication, it can be through patent or through commercialization. So there are many aspects. Tomorrow, Professor Khalifa, who is one of my best friends, he's going to explain more on the entrepreneurship. So I will not touch more on that. But rather, I would say that patenting your product, protecting your product, and bringing name to a country. This is very, very important. How can we give an inch, or how we can, we just like a drop in an ocean. We are like a drop in an ocean, but we can become, an entrepreneur university or research university one day. The initiative is taken by your management and your principal, past ex-principals and the current principal and the heads of the department and others. I really appreciate. This is very important. Without this kind of interactions, we will not move forward. So when we listen to somebody, those who are from other countries, that's why I put research without borders. There is no border for research. I work with people from England, I work with people from Australia, I work with people from China, I work with people from India, work with people from France, I work with people from US or any other country. There is no border for research That's the title. My research, today title, Research Without Borders. So you can work anywhere. All you need is appropriate contact, sacrifice. I would like to emphasize this sacrifice. When my mother was taking me by foot, walking 8 kilometers to the school, I still recall it. Without her sacrifice, without her blood, or without her, my parents' blood and sweat, I wouldn't be sitting here today talking to you. So we always esteem where we came from. So always think. Don't think of a negative or the aspects that are going to put you down. Always think of positive. We can achieve. We can achieve. And we are here to deliver. Never ever underestimate your capacity. You are going to be one of the finest researchers in India. You can contribute to NGPIT, Anna University, or any university you belong to. No matter who you are, where you are, what is your academic qualification, you have a PhD or not, you can contribute in research. And ultimately, those who don't have a PhD, you will get your PhDs in due course. So with that point, I'd like to thank you again, because we're going to continue our deliberation after this. And I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to the management once again, NGPIT, your Nalla, your Dr. Respectful Dr. Nalla, Paliswamy, and Dr. Davmani, and all the management team, as well as the principal and your our head of the department, beloved Professor Priya, and everyone involved. Thank you and be blessed.
So thank you so much, sir, for your keynote address. Is very informative, sir. So we can start, sir.
We can start now. Is it okay? I'm
Okay, sir.
everybody okay? Now I can share my slides. Okay, can you give me a minute? Because this is the Google platform, very easy for us. Give me a minute. I'm just trying to find my slide. Okay. Where is my slide? The slides are there, but I don't know. Normally I use Google very often. Give me a minute, 1 minute. Give me a minute. I have some problem in presenting. Give me a minute.
So, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
I'll just go back from this laptop and come back to another. Give me a couple of minutes. Sorry.
So, okay, sir, no problem, sir.
Okay, here we go. Sorry for the delay because I was using another laptop where that one has some issue. So can you see my slide?
Sir, it's visible, sir.
Visible, okay. Can you hear my voice clearly because it's a different laptop?
Sir, it's audio is clear, sir. Voice is clear, sir.
Okay, today's topic is on research without borders. I put it like this: exemplification of sprouting research to ramification. So it's quite complicated words, but I just want to simplify it. We can't do research without an exemplification. Means to bring it to the top. It's sprouting means say it's like a plant that sprouts from the ground. It has to be shown outside after the seeds converted into a plant or into anything. So it's like a seed. We are sowing a seed. It has to grow and it has to yield fruits. So when our universities have invested so much of money and time and the space and everything, we have to utilize that. All we need is our mind, attitude. So I always tell, because of the attitude, many of us, if we don't have the right attitude, I think we will be somewhere we will never achieve our goals. So today, I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge, very importantly, my drive. You may ask why I put drivers first. So once I was, we have to go to a lot of places. So once I was asking one of my people in the university, take me to a particular place. Said, no problem. I just always, no problem. He's very humble, very always helpful. So only then on the way, he said, the only problem is for me, when I'm driving, I will sleep. You know what will happen to you? So the drivers are very important part of our research. We have to visit a lot of places, very many places. So I feel the drivers are very important. Laboratory support staff, co-researchers, research scholars, and our commercialization and innovation unit, we call University of Malaya Center for Innovation and Commercialization, UMCIC. Industrial partners, we have quite a number of industrial partners. Overseas research university partners, we have not, and also the journals. We have been publishing quite a number of journals. So let me go to the this one. Also, actually, before that, I already thanked everybody, so I don't want to take time. Then let me straight away go to the scholarly research on impact. Scholarly impact of research. So how you can impact your research. Sometimes you can promote through the scholarly research tools, and quality, it also determines your quality. You are to assess the potential for grant funding, because you are applying to maybe the Department of Science and Technology or Tamil Nadu state government funding or international funding. There are a lot of fundings available. If you don't get funding, it's quite difficult for you to start your research. So you have to have a proper research, I would call it as profile. If you have a research profile, say people look at your profile, you have been working with somebody in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, or in Australia, or in America, or in England. So it's good. We see that you have some potential because you have that communication asset and job market. When you have the research, you can become an entrepreneur. You can start your own industry. I know some of the students I'm teaching, I told them, hey, take this to your industry. Maybe you have a backup, or you want to start from square one, you can do it. And productivity, these are the things for the research. Okay, also how they are measuring us, these are so-called scholarly research. When we submit to a journal, particular journal, you are writing a journal article, you have a quality, the research has a quality or not. So you have to also look at the quality of the journal. Article reach where it can reach, only within India, only within state of Tamil Nadu, or only within Southeast Asia, or does it reach beyond the border? You have to see that reach of your article. How does it influence or impact? Or can you disseminate your information to others properly? And the researcher impact. You as a researcher, you have to have an impact on others. Okay, these journals, how do they, I say we, not me, it's the research, so-called the measurements. Those you can have a Web of Science, Scopus, or even Google Scholar or others. There are some of these people. How do they measure us? As I mentioned, journal level metrics. Okay, you can use the journal level, measure the quality of journal using citation formula. Citation is very, very important. When you publish an article, it's cited by somebody somewhere in America, means you get a credit. You cite your own journal 100 times, you don't get much credit because you are only the person you are citing your own article. So how we can reach out to others, and citation based or AL metrics, they call it as, and also author level metrics, measure bibliography impact of individual authors. So these are some of the measuring tools for us. Okay, we use the journal level matrix, or this is very important as well. In University of Malaya, we use this Web of Science, we call Clarivate Analytics. This Web of Science, it's only consists of high impact journals, or even they classify into different quartile. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So the journal, maybe they enter into Q4 category. They can go to Q1 category. Q1 is the top. So Web of Science is one of the important, we call metrics that measures our impact, journal impact or publication impact. So we see that our university will not consider Scopus much, but only Web of Science. Certain universities only consider Scopus, and they cover probably 12,000 journals. It's they call it as SCIE, Science Citation Index Expanded, and for social science, SSCI. Okay, the many libraries has, this is very costly. Therefore, Web of Science does come with another one called Journal Citation Report. I will show you later about myself or even other researchers, how they are, contributing through this JCR, means the measurement of our research through JCR. Scopus covers quite broader. Some of the universities in India, I think they accept Scopus. For us, Scopus is also acceptable. However, we are given more weightage for Web of Science journals. This publication in Web of Science journals is considered as the top. So you can consider either Web of Science or Scopus or even other. There are many other journals, even without citations. Maybe some of us will start without proper metrics. It's okay to start, but you have to move on from Scopus. Next, I must publish in Web of Science. Then you don't stop there. You go to the next Q4, maybe Q3, then go to Q2, then go to the Q1, the top index journals. So it's very important. Okay. Another is called Journal Impact Factor. Very important. Most well known is it JIF. You have to look. I can show you later how you can measure the journal impact factor. It's quite important. Is this, you can, of course, it has to be paid. Yeah? We cannot simply get it from online. You have to get online, but the university has to have subscription. So from the journal impact factor, but a particular journal, say for instance, I say quartile 1 is considered the top journals. They are giving you the 5-year indicators, how the journal has been trending over the last 5 years. For example, JIF is a measure of frequency with which the average article published in a given scholarly journal that has been cited over a period, on a year or 5 years. Let's say 5 years, we can check last 5 years, what was the impact factor, JIF, or sometimes we call impact factor. This is very important to check whether I can publish in this journal or this. So I get some of queries from India. I suggest them, okay, I look at the article, I see, oh, yeah, better you go for this particular level. Or this journal looks very, very highly written, or maybe the quality is very good. You don't go for Q3, you go for Q1. Just submit it. If they reject the journal, doesn't matter, because they will give you the reason for rejecting. Learn from there. Okay, so this is very journal impact factor can be found from JCR. We call Journal Citation Report. Am I clear? Anyone can, those who are listening to me, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's audible, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So Scopus based matrix. So I hope you can all see this. Scopus is freely available. You can see that. Only the Web of Science, we need to pay. But this is freely available. You can just have a look at it. They also measure site score or source normalized impact per paper or SGR. These are some of the things they give you. So another one is article level metrics. So how we can measure citation based and allometric measures can show how this impact of individual research or your publication. Your publication, I'm talking about publication now. Still, I have not come to the research. I'm going to the second stage or the final stage of your outcome. From your sprouting research to ramification. So through journals, don't stop. Write. Some countries they call publish or perish. I just go to look at Thailand. How big Thailand is. Malaysia, look at it. I think it's almost, we can compare this with the Kerala, state of Kerala. Almost 30 million people, 30 plus million, or 3 crores. So how this, this country, they are the University Malaya where I'm working, we call research university. This University Malaya is the number 1 in Malaysia, and number 59 it was last year. This year it's going to be, it's 65 in the world, among the probably 20,000, many thousands universities compared in the QS ranking. I'm talking about the QS ranking. Now, there are different rankings. So we follow the QS ranking. And look at the level of publications. Our academic staff, researchers, they have research unit. They publish. They have to publish because that's the outcome. So that's how they are being measured. Now, very important is how many times your article was cited. That's very important. Please look at Google. Just you type. If you are a researcher, you may know it. Sorry, I'm not talking to those who are highly scholarly researchers here. Forgive me if I'm not addressing you, because I'm addressing those who are trying to, publish and trying to become a good researcher later stage. Okay, those who are like purely in the teaching universities. Those who are in the teaching university, probably we may not have the luxury of conducting research with the latest technological advancements, with the equipments. So I'm just talking to you how you can even start writing an article, and it can be cited by somebody. So you can also track in the social media, and also geographical. Even they tell us, hey, your article is cited by somebody in US. They immediately inform you. Somebody cites your articles. That's a credit for you, because your research is read by somebody. They give you due credit. That's a very important. And geographical distribution, these metrics, article level metrics tells, okay, from Malaysia, from your journal, from India, say from NGPIT, Anna University. Which university are you under? NGPIT? Are you under Bharatiyar University, or are you under Anna University?
Sir, we are from Anna University, sir.
Okay, say Anna University. You can say Anna University, you are from India, even though it's state of Tamil Nadu, then you will say that your article is cited in Thailand. Somebody. Or you will say somebody has read in China your article. This is very important for us to know. Of course, some of the metrics they ask us to pay, but it's not mandatory for us to pay and get this information, because it's not, but it gives you a credit. It gives you some kind of recognition. And disciplinary distribution of citing the papers. This is also important, and impact outside the scholarly community, even others. So author metrics, H-index. I normally, we give credit for our university or any university. If you look at the world-renowned university, they measure by H-index. Can anyone say what is H-index? If you have some idea, maybe from the audience, maybe I can just pause for a minute. So we need to get some information from our audience. So what do you understand by H-index? Anyone? Some 80 plus participants here. Anybody wants to say, you say your H-index, or say what is H-index? Okay, there's no response.
Unaware, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah. Nora? Yeah, please.
Not aware, sir.
Not aware. Okay, thank you for the info. Where are you from, Deepali?
Delhi, sir.
Delhi, thank you, Diwali, joining. I think really appreciate your joining today. You know what I'm sharing, thanks for just sharing, because this is very important for us. This for Deepali mentioned. She doesn't know. It's okay. For me, it's okay. I also was not aware what is H-index. I learned it. What H-index say? You are writing an article. It's cited somewhere by somebody in China or America or England or Australia or New Zealand. So that your article has been, you have 5 articles. You have 5 articles cited. This is, let's say, your H-index is 5. How do they calculate 5? An author has 5 publications, each receiving 5 citations. Means You have 5 articles. Deepali has 5 articles, assuming. Deepali, by the way, what is your discipline? Are you from engineering or other background?
Tourism, sir.
Sorry?
Tourism studies.
Tourism, okay. So in case, let's say you are writing about an article about tourism, I believe tourism, you can write a lot of articles about Indian culture, rich culture, about anywhere. Let's start from, top to bottom. You can go to Kanyakumari or Kashmir or east to west. If you are writing an article about tourism, let's say you have 5 articles. Each article is cited by 5 people in different countries or different anywhere, even India. You get H index of 5. That's important. So H index is very important. Those who are writing an article, your article is cited how many times? If it's, let's say, one article, you have only one article cited 100 times, your H index is only 1. Remember, you have one article, but cited 100 times, no use, because only H index 1. But you have 100 articles cited, only one article is cited, still you have H index 1. So your articles have to be read by somebody. Somebody somewhere have to cite your article in their journal. They have to give a credit to you. That's your credit. So that's called H index. So this is very important for us. Okay, that's also called G index and M index, but we use H index. So H index is quite common that we are not using the other indices. So Web of Science, as I said, Web of Science is giving you the highly, the called index, H index, or sometimes Google, even go to Google or Scopus. I even publish or perish. There is a website, you can check all these things for recognizing your publications. This is very important. So that's why the value of the H index may vary depending on the source of information, number of indexed publications. Sometimes you publish, it is not visible to others, it is not in indexed journal, then you can't get H index. That's why I say you try to publish in Web of Science or Scopus index journals or any well-known journals, so that your article will be getting H index. Okay, that is very, very important. So getting an index is very important. Say H index. So Web of Science is one. Even Google Scholar. Google Scholar is not the one. For example, this is Web of Science. So my surname. I don't see anybody. That's a problem with our names. Say, let's say we get Deepali. If there is a person, maybe there are 10,000 people under the same name. Then you type in, you will find a citation report. Let's say my name, surname is Alengaram. If you type Johnson, there will be probably a billion or even a million people under the same name, or even 5 million people, 50 lakhs people under the same name. Maybe in America or in Australia or in England, that sometimes it's a common name. But this is my surname, family name. So look at this surname. You type in, I'm using surname. I don't see anybody in the world with this name. So exactly, I get my publications. I have 129 publications. I will check all my publications. Then, and you see, this will give me citing article in like how many times cited and what is the total time cited, how many articles cited. So 4,000 times cited, and without self-citation means I cited my articles probably 500 times, but others cited my article 3,470 times. Then average citation per items, say they divide, so we get 31 times, means one article gets 31 citation, and my H index is 38. So H index 38 is it's not that easy to get. It requires, I mentioned before, it requires sacrifice. It requires dedication. It requires empathetic approach. It requires sympathetic approach. It requires very, very, very hard work in the laboratory, day and night. So without that, it's not easy. It's written here only, in a simple term, but how much effort one person has to take, it's not easy. Okay, so you look at this. Google Scholar is all, you can type my name, Johnson Alengaram, you can find in Google Scholar, even see here. So if you type my name, I'm from University of Malaya, you type my name, you can find the H index in Google, it's 50. But whereas I get H index only 38 in the case of Web of Science. So this is how we measure. Say, look at the cited by one of the articles, probably my student's article. Normally we put student's name first. My name is second. So sometimes this is my articles, maybe like this is my student. So this article, for this article gets 254 citation because this is published in a journal called Energy and Building, quite high impact journal. Construction and Building Material, Q1 journal. Energy and Building, Q1 journal. Material Design, Q1 journal. Construction and Building Materials, all Q1 journal. So look at the citation. The 254 people cited. It was published in almost 7 years or 8 years back. So this is how we measure the index. So this one citation, but I don't get 254 H index. H index will be if I have 38 articles here, 38 or 50 here, 50 articles cited 50 times. Then 50 researchers cite each of the article. That's called H index. Okay. So this one is Almetrics. You can also check in a Google search is easier. So they also how many times something is downloaded. They will give you the downloaded articles. How many? There are many. This is one of the indices. I call it as. There are many other things you can check. Reading. Who is reading your work? Has it been covered by news outlets anywhere? Supposing somebody writing a newspaper, or who is commenting on the work? Is there anybody commenting? How is it being shared? From these Almetrics, you can check. Which countries are looking at my work, or say your work is being somebody from Venezuela or from Brazil or from Argentina. Now I work with somebody from Brazil. So I tell my professor or colleague, or they say, hey, can you help me on this particular because I couldn't get this article or this information. He can help me. So don't make a border within yourselves. Don't put a border. If you put a border within yourself, we confine ourselves to a well. It's like a frog in the well. Never ever keep yourselves within the boundary. Leave beyond. Just go outside the boundary. That's why I put the title, Research Without Border. That's my main focus. Research without border. Because see, when I submitted a proposal years back, almost 1.5 years, I had to have a regular interaction with my counterparts from the United Kingdom. Not one day, not 2 days, weekly, monthly meetings, regularly to put up the structure of the proposal for the funding from two governments. It's not one government. It's from the two governments, government of Malaysia and the government of United Kingdom. You see, two governments involving, and there are 60 or 100 over submissions. How many people compete? 60 to 100 people compete. Then they have to minimize or scrutinize, go through different stages of the application processing. Then finally they say, okay, I have taken some 20. From that 20, our project, our proposal was taken up five, only 5 from Malaysia. So imagine out of 100 or 60, then from 100 it goes to 60, then it goes to 25, then it goes to 5. So how difficult to get one funding. So please ensure your research is always your proposals or your research or this all meant for exemplification. Okay, you have to show that you are capable of publishing. You are capable of publishing. Don't stop just doing in the laboratory. You may come up with many excuses. Yes, we do. But excuses don't take you anywhere. Excuses don't give you any certificate. Excuses don't give us H index. All that takes for you to achieve high esteem in the community among the researchers is your hard work, your networking. Network. Just work with the people around the world. See, we have people from different area today, maybe from engineering, from tourism, from arts, anyone. All you need is, say, for example, I love to work with our participants. Just now I spoken to the Indora. So maybe she's good in this tourism. So maybe I'd like to have some kind of works in the tourism, means how I have some idea about certain things. So how we can collaborate. Of course, I'm not in tourism, but I'm just giving you an idea. So there are universities. I have a university. We have a university in Malaysia that's also involved in this kind of tourism, or kind of very important. Tourism is the biggest industry in Egypt. Imagine 4,500 years back. When I visited Egypt, I was just telling the people there, hey, look at, you are earning money today, but you see the sacrifices of your great, how many years? 4,500 years, 2,500 BC, the pyramids were built. So I told them, see, you are reaping the rewards today. You did not sow, you did not water it, you did not plant it, but you are reaping the rewards, what your forefathers have done 4,500 years back. People from all over the world visit here. They pay you. They pay you for just visiting the place. They don't take anything. They can't take the pyramid from your place back to their hometown, then make a burial ground for them. No, they just visit your place. Am I making sense? My dear participants, am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Only one person at least. It's good for me. At least one person says yes. Okay, so next is on the exemplification of sprouting research. For example, so we have some of the I would call it as products. See, we want to build. We were given an opportunity to build a house, with a short period of time. And we were coming, there are some materials available in Malaysia. I'm not talking particularly in one research, I'm giving an idea. So this is a byproduct or waste material from the industry, the cooking oil, palm oil industry. This is a cooking oil or cosmetic. We are also using that some of the oil from the palm industry for cosmetic or other purposes. So we get this waste. There are 400 factories in Malaysia alone. Indonesia, maybe many more. Thailand, Nigeria, Ecuador, India, Andhra Pradesh, they have there's so many materials available, this kind of waste industrial byproduct. From there, we fabricated the brick. That's why I call, this is a sprouting research. From this base material, we can get 3 items. Like, this is like 3 kind of items. One is, we call it as powder. We can use as a cement replacement. Another is sand, which can be used to replace the conventional sand. This is the lightweight. And another one is the coarse aggregate. We can use as a replacement of conventional aggregate. This is very light. So these are some of the things. This is another aggregate we have used, oil palm shell. This is another aggregate we have been using for, even this we can use it as a showcase. People look at this, oh, it looks very nice. We can use it. Some of these products, we have used this for the construction. Even this one is heavy aggregate from the steel industry. We have used this in the construction. So these are some. Say even we built the house using without cement. This is without cement. These are this you can see the payments. These payments without any cement. This also without any cement. So this payment, this one plastic. You see this plastic aggregates. These are the plastic aggregates. So this is some of the products. Even we use the cement-free, we call cement-free geopolymer house. We use these materials. There is nowhere you see the cement. So we have used this kind of materials, and you see that this is a product from the so-called steel industry. This is from coal operating power plant, we call thermal power plant. This is from quarry, normal quarry, rock quarry. This is from palm industry. So we have obtained these materials, and you see myself and my people researchers, they help me to mix and develop the products. So sprouting research, but ramification, that's very important. We need to produce, but course, there are some faults here. There are some mistakes here. Yes, that's why we call ramification. It is not without fault. See, when we are making a blocks from these materials, even this one is from palm industry. No, this material, lightweight, these two are lightweight. Okay, lightweight materials. We can produce the blocks. Okay, so these are some of the products. I call it as, from these protein. We built another house within the University Malaya campus. This one, we have used some of the materials that we have shown. What I'm trying to say, this is a demonstration of our work. See, when we did this construction, it's a very small house because it's a very cheap budget. They told that you have to construct it within a very small budget. So they gave us a car park area, 2 months time. Of course, nowadays they build 20-story building in 2 months, but for us it's a very research from basic, fundamental, and we have to produce the material. We have to fabricate it. We are not a multinational company. We are just researchers. For researchers to build a small house with using only a sustainable material, it's not that easy. When we talk about people building multi-story building in 2 months or 1 week, that's different. That's all prefabricated. For us to build a small house, it requires a lot of efforts. So we have to build on a car park. So this is what we did it. We have a house, and we have visitors from France. This is one of our collaborators from France. They're from France. They are French. There are people from, he's from France. He's our former ex-minister, and he officiated the house in almost 6 years back, or 7 years, 6 years probably. So how much effort we require. My RA, research assistant, is helping me. Research assistant is helping me. They did the survey because this is a bus driver. They gave us so-called challenge. See, these bus drivers are sitting in the cabin. This cabin, there were few cabins here. So we removed the cabins, and they told us, "Oh, you are using cement-free concrete. Without cement, you are doing okay. Why don't you build a house for these bus drivers? Bus drivers are sitting in the bus, and they are just putting the air condition on. 30 buses here, all university buses. They just sit down because they don't have a place to sit. So they gave us a challenge. So we did some kind of works here and construct. See, all these cement-free. No cement here. We just used, except for the foundation. Others all cement-free. So we have at the stages, our dean and our vice chancellors are here. Just when we are constructing, they visited us and we explained how even the concrete. This is cement-free concrete for the columns and beams. All these columns. We had visitors from Gujarat. Students visited us. Australian people visited. Many visitors come from different parts of the world. China and Nigeria, or even from Algeria, Morocco. People come and visit us. So these are some of the works that we have done, and finally we constructed. Just I'm showing this during the inauguration of the house. So just showing this. Also we conduct. This is exemplification. Now I'm coming to the exemplification. Means we need to, bring it to the audience, public. So this is very important. See, our funder from France. It's called Vinci Construction. They helped us in this kind of construction. They are also a fund provider. So we managed to get all these things. Is it process readiness? Even we did 7-8 years back. We did blast resistant concrete with a live blast test. See, conventional concrete cannot withstand, but our concrete, lightweight concrete, it withstood the 10 kg TNT after the blast test. This is the after the blast test, normal weight concrete shattered. This one is still intact, even though there were cracks, but it was not shattered like this. So it gave us, this is called from the sprouting research to ramification and exemplification. This is very important for us. So how, in other senses, apart from this? Okay, so now I may stop for a while, and sorry that I don't finish it. I have not finished it. So probably you may think that I have finished, so you might be happy. No, I have not finished it. Sorry for that, because the bad news, I have not finished it. What's time for you there?
Sir, we have time up to 12:30, sir.
Okay, what's your time now?
11:30, sir.
11:30 only.
Yes, sir.
How many minutes more?
So, 1 hour, sir.
So I can go slowly, is it?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So am I clear? Because I want to ask something from you people now, because I don't want to just one person is speaking, nothing from your side. So I want to know from your side. Please be free to talk to me, because I am one of you. Treat me as I'm one of you. Don't treat this researcher is there in Malaysia. No, we also have two legs and two hands. So everybody, when I think of my, I was in PhD College of Technology when I did my masters. My professor told me, Professor, Jay Gopalan, respectful Professor Jay Gopal, he told me, hey, Johnson, hey, come here. This is your work. This is the research. I was doing my masters. And he told I didn't know anything, but I know Professor Jayapal is Jayapal is very, now he's retired. Of course, he has his own consultants in Coimbatore, Prof. Jayapal, and you might have heard of him. And he's very, very well known. He's always smiling guy, smiling professor. We call him smiling professor. He smiles all the time. So one of the reasons people live long life is smiling. So he used to smile a lot. And he told, hey, this is going to be your research work for your try. That's all. He just gave me the so-called, the interest, research interest. Later on, I will explain on that because I want to tell some stories. I tell stories to my people. Of course, you are all researchers. I can't tell more stories to you. Okay, give me some input, what you learned from my half an hour or so, 40 minutes or so. Can you please give some feedback from your side? You can speak, please. I have some more thing to go later. Anybody can just give some kind of your input for anything that you learn or you understood or you have any doubts, anything, please.
Should I speak, sir?
Yeah, please, anyone. Nepali, yes. Thank you very much.
Sir, you have informed us regarding the journal quality and how a journal and a researcher can increase their impact and the H index as well. And what is the grading of the journals? That's Q1 to Q4 that you've informed. And the quality journal would have sort of indicators. Then there's for scientific journal, there's a Web of Science, which is we don't have that. We have Scopus. So you have informed us regarding this.
Yeah, I think you have covered some of these points very well, Dipali. I think I really appreciate. So, what is your take from here? You would like to take something for your future work, or are you working, or you are in university? What is your this one, Dipali? How is it?
Sir, I'm currently working as an assistant lecturer in Institute of Hospitality and Tourism Management, ITDC, New Delhi.
Okay, great.
What I have understood from here is that there is a difference in the quality of journals and the quality of researcher, which is based on their citations and the index of the journals and the quality of the journal. That is what I have earned from here.
Fine. As long as you got something, it's fine. Thank you, Deepali. I think there is someone, anybody other than, please go ahead, others, anybody. Anyone wants to raise a question or give any comments before I move on to the next one? Please go ahead. You have time. So out of the 90, I have only one person is participating. Even I see the 100, including me.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Good morning, Rajendra.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is no. In one side, we are seeing in electronic industry or computer industry or automobile industry, whatever research has done, it is soon implemented. Whether we can see in mobiles or electronic products or in automobiles. But in civil engineering, we are very far. Even we can reach to moon or we have everything. But if we walk in a city, even in Bangalore city also, we see concrete is mixed on the roadside. They block the road or half of the road. They encourage and mix the concrete for casting the columns. So I don't think whatever we do, the research will be implemented even in the coming 100 years in our country.
Yeah, I understand. There are some of the advancements have to be, implemented. Actually, it takes a lot of effort. But however, Dr. Rajendra, are you from civil engineering or?
Yes, I'm from civil engineering.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rajendra, for giving your yes. Yes, it is there. I agree with you. But some or other, we can. So I call it as exemplify. Means we can put our research into practice to showcase in the beginning. For instance, it's very difficult, as you said, electronics or mechanical or so-called mechatronics or chemical or automobiles or any aeronautics, they all can take off very fast because they have that. But civil engineering, I say, it's quite tough because they have been in this industry for years and they have the raw materials readily available and they have been traditionally following it. So it's quite hard. I do agree with you. Even when we, constructed the houses and we produce the products, it's very difficult to penetrate the market. I agree. So it requires somewhere some kind of revamping, rethinking. Because yesterday I was talking to a developer in India. She said, yes, sir, we are using this kind of blocks, solid blocks, 20 kg a block, and we are lifting to few floors up, and we need a crane or this kind of, so we need a lot of manpower as well as equipment. So why don't we use lightweight? They said, yes, why don't we use lightweight? Because that will reduce the dead load as well as other aspects. So we need a kind of technology. And, look at the other countries. They are straight away implementing. Australia. They have started implementing geopolymer concrete for railway sleepers, for some of the so-called precast elements. Yes, it is there. There are certain countries, they have taken initiative to do away with the cement. It's not possible to get away from cement. Or you mentioned on that's a culture that has to be changed. Like, for example, mixing on the roadside and disturbing the traffic and all this. We need to change the kind of culture in our side. That's, I agree, Dr. Rajendra, you are right. However, for me, to give some idea on the research, how we can exemplify, and from this protein research to ramification, we need to do our part. That's what I'm saying. As you say, I fully agree with you. I sympathize and empathize with you, Dr. Rajendra. Yes, it's true. Nature. Sometimes we don't have control. Yeah, thank you. However, we can. Yeah, thank you for your point. Anybody other than Dr. Rajendra? Anybody? I have one more question. I can take up one more person or this side before I move on to the next one. Anyone?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Sir, I am very new in this research field, but I must say, after listening to you, sir, I felt very much motivated. And the examples that you gave from your domain area, which I myself was not aware of, that has instilled a kind of a motivation, and we can look into these diverse areas as well. I come from the computer science background, but looking at the way you have done and the way you have progressed, sir, it has instilled a kind of this in me that we can really do well. Thank you, sir, so much.
Thank you. Are you a lecturer, professor, or is it?
Yes, I'm a professor in computer science in Goa.
Yeah, I see from your name, Dr. Tracy, Professor Tracy. Thank you for your input. Really, I am blessed by your saying. You said is 100% true, Professor Tracy. So blessed to. Even I thought I'm just going to speak to the civil engineers. Luckily, I just prepared some things that is going to be important for others. Thank you for giving that point, Dr. Professor Tracy. Thing is, we are forced today. I can't work only in civil engineering. Today, I'm going to the computer science people. I'm going to electrical people. I'm going to mechanical engineers. I'm going to chemical engineers. I'm going to biologists, biological science people. I'm working with. Why? You may ask. See, I don't have the database. For instance, Dr. Prof. Tracy, what we need you. Why we need you? How we can work together? For example, the researchers from India. I say, how many data they are not having a database where, say, for example, Europe. Go to Europe, check with the European countries. They know how many incinerators they have, how many tons of garbage is collected every day, how many they incinerate, how many tons they collect, and they use it as a fertilizer or other material. They have database. For us in Asia, do we have a database? No, not at all. Say, for example, we have many industrial byproducts from steel industry, from automobile industry, from computer industry. Say, computer industry, they told us a lot of handphones, cell phone, lot of computers, old computers, they're all being dumped. So they told us, why can't we use it as some kind of material for, some products? People started doing that. So lot of we call it denominational research is coming out. So you can't do it with your own research. You need to help us. So thanks, Prof. Tracy, for your input. So when I see you people from different industry or different area working here, really, okay, somebody asked, raise up their hands, please. Anyone? Any more before I move on to the next one? Okay, if no, because I have another probably 45 minutes. So I will just move on because I want to know what is your feedback. Because now I will tell, those who are apart from civil engineering, we are, there to contribute, right. Don't stop. Just write an article about, something and try to make it known your caliber. I'm not talking about writing skill, but rather the data that you need to bring to the world. What data? You may say there are so many things people don't know. They don't have a database. For example, take Southeast Asian nation, all the 10 or 11 nations, Southeast Asia, or you say our Asian, all the 5 nations there, or you take this Asian continent or African continent. So many data, we don't have the database. There is no database. People want to find out certain things. We don't have database. But you look at the Apple, this handphone or your cell phone or your PC, computer, or laptop, you have database. How many sold in China or India? They have a database. But look at the automobile or other, they may have database. But our civil engineering, we don't have the database. How many tons are produced in this category? How many tons of wastage collected from the state of Goa, from the from all the household, and how many tons are incinerated? Where do they dump it? Do they dump it in the open field or do they dump it somewhere or something? We don't have database. So database is very important where we can work together. We work with the biological science people. Why? We want to heal the cracks in the bridges. So they have some kind of ready-made or some kind of material. So we take like even bacteria, people work on bacteria or others. We get that kind of research. So there are a lot of things. Okay, so next, let me move on. If no questions, thank you for all those who have asked. Really, I'm so heartened to hear your comments and also the points. Okay, let me go to the next point. Finally, I'm going to share on how research can be written. Okay, so research articles can be written. Some of the points might be useful for others as well. So just bear with me as I share the slides. Sorry, this one is so research to the we call it as ramification. So let me just some issue. Okay, 1 minute. Okay. I'm sharing this. For example, some of the awards that our researchers, myself and our researchers won, 18. So we have won International Technology Exposition Award, Gold. And 2019, there is another, this is the local Malaysian language, SIPTA. We also produced and we participated. We got Gold Award. When this one, Malaysian Technological Exposition 20 and 21, we won Silver and Special Award from Japan. See, some of the awards we received. Why I'm saying that, not to magnify myself. It's not here. I'm not here to glorify myself. Just to say that we need to showcase our product somewhere and somewhere. So these are some of the awards. Even Malaysia, Croatia Technology Exchange, and this for the low cost house. We also got gold medal, and this one award we got some of the International Technological Exposition. And materials I already told you. So let me go through research to ramification through journal writing. This is my final part. So you can smile that I'm going to finish, but it will take time. So journal writing is a very important art, because you look at, when I was studying in my own medium of instruction. So when I went to university, I was I had an inferiority complex. Because when I look at the paper, my colleagues, this university students, we call college students, they're all from highly, from all English medium. I and some of the people had a kind of inferiority complex because we can't speak English properly. And even writing, it's quite hard. Thank God. I had a person from Shimla, all the way from Shimla, Sanjay Kumar Atri. He was staying in my hostel. Because in Shimla at those days they didn't have an engineering college, so the states they send the students to Tamil Nadu. So I got the students, my friend Sanjay Kumar Atri from Shimla, all the way to this Tamil Nadu. We were whenever I wanted to improve my English. So what did I do? Whenever we go to university college, I just go to his room. Hey Sanjay, can we go? Because I only know few sentences in English. Can we go to this college? That's all. Can we go? Come. Only these few sentences I know, because I know I'm from, I'm not from a well-educated English, so-called. Even I studied in the convent, but not in English. But so later on, I found out it's art. English is not my language. It's somebody's language. It's from England. It's not my first language. But no way I can escape from this language. Without English, I cannot work in this country. I was working in Middle East before. I needed English. So writing is a skill. You have to master it. You like or not. What I did was, those days no televisions. So only radio. I used to listen to radios. Cricket commentary also used to listen in Australian commentaries. Very nice English. Or BBC. I used to listen hours listening. I didn't know that I'm improving without knowing, because I was so thirsty to learn what's going on around the world. So I used to listen to radio, BBC. Then I started reading newspaper almost regular basis. Almost every time I used to read the newspaper. So this is where I improved. Talking to Sanjay, hey Sanjay, let's go to all the 20 minutes or 25 minutes of walk, because we have to walk all the way 20 minutes from the hostel to the university, college. Walk. Lunchtime, come back. Hey, because we are classmates, fortunately, thank God. It was, I call, divine blessing. So I had to walk back to the college, hostel. Then go back, after lunch, go back. Almost 4.5+ years, we were friends. Today is one of the top engineers in Himachal Pradesh. So what I'm trying to say here, we have means. If you have a desire, nobody is going to stop you. That's why I'm saying we should have that attitude too. So writing journal is very important. The most common method, scholarly communication. Without writing, proper writing. So even I write today, after many years of experience, they say, no, you need to send to the native speaker who can speak English properly. Because English is not my language. So I can write. I may have some grammar mistake, typo error, no problem. Why? Because there are people to edit, help us in editing, no problem. Sometimes I don't send to editor because I myself do it. So it's very important that journals, we need to publish it. So publishing 2.5 million articles a year, people publish. So you can be among, it's 2.5 million, is it? So growth, this is very important. The journals are increasing every year. So preparing to write, remember that you are writing to communicate, not impress. Don't impress, but you are writing to. That's why engineers, we draw, we don't speak. Say, for example, you're building a construction, you don't speak to the mason, or you speak to the site engineer, hey, I want 10-meter wall or 5-meter thickness or 1 mm thickness, or we don't talk. We just communicate through drawing. Drawing is a communication tool. Same thing, writing is a communication tool, not to impress, but to communicate well. Realize the journal editors and peer reviewers reading your work, what want you to do well. Anybody say, I am an editor, I'm also one of the editors, also the editors in a journal. I'm also a reviewer. I just reviewed yesterday or before yesterday one journal. I gave 20 comments. Why? I don't want to put the person down. Please note, it's not my intention to put the person down. No, I want to say, hey, you have done well, but improve on this. Show the evidence. We have to show the evidence. Without that, how do you write a journal? So writing a journal, that's why I say sprouting research to ramification. Ramification has a lot of mistakes, maybe because we are not perfect. Only one is perfect. We are all imperfect. Don't worry. I learn from my mistakes. So purpose of their constructive criticism, I give the criticism. If we call constructive criticism, is to help you to succeed. That's why. Don't worry about any problems or issue. We may be down when the journalist article, your article is rejected. No worry, you submit it. Select a journal for publication. This is very important. I don't have time, otherwise I go through how you can select a particular journal for your publication. Use published items as a model. Always read. I tell my students 100 times, 1,000 times, I don't know. Always tell them, read, write. Don't stop. Always read. If you don't read, you don't get many phrases, many understanding of the meaning of the phrases. You need to read and read and read. Journal instruction also. When you want to write a particular journal, say you are Indian concrete journal, say I mean from civil engineering, say there is a journal called Indian concrete journal, or structural engineering journal, or construction and building material from Web of Science, or civil and concrete research, or international or computer science and engineering. You have an international journal of computers, anything. So if you are writing a journal article, always go to the instruction. They have given you what to do. And topic is very important, to identify a topic. Okay, I will try to go fast because I have some slides. It might be, I may stop at the time because I know the time is now, because Malaysia it is 2:30 going to be. So 3 o'clock here means your time 12:30 means here 3. So I'll try to stop. In case you need continuation, please let me know. Otherwise, I will stop at 3 o'clock here time. Your time, don't say 3 o'clock means not your time. It's Malaysian time. We are 2.5 hours ahead. Okay? So please stop me when you want to stop at 12:30 your time. I know some of you may have lectures or others. So for instance, this one, they say advices. Identify topic from advisors, students or collaborators. So topic, they may give you some advice. Even the students can give. Collaborators, they may give. What kind of topic? Brainstorming with the colleagues. So you have few people, we can discuss with them. Review papers. For example, I asked all my students, those who come for PhD, start a review article. 50 articles you review and write a review article on your own. Listen to research talks. Even today, you are listening. I listen to 3 of you now. I listen because I learned from 3 of you. That's why, see, everybody, 90 of you listening from 1 person. Imagine I listen from 3. I learn more than what you learned from me. So that's why I say, give me some feedback. Then I learned from you. Today I learned 3 of you. From what I needed something from you. Because I don't want to just go from this session without learning from you. That's very important. Teach a course or give a talk. Always try to take an initiative. That's why I think there are some tough questions you need to answer or you need to think, or emerging fields that will help to publish many. Funding also very important is funding, as I mentioned before. Funding, writing a proposal. So I've been spending some evening hours, late, probably 9, 10, even midnight, to prepare the funding proposals proper. It's not easy to get a funding. Okay, then of a good topic. What are the characteristics of a good topic? It should be interesting to you, otherwise you can't do it. Enhancement of the previous research, it could be another one. Maybe you are enhancing somebody who has written before, because it's a research. In Tamil, it is it's the meaning in my language is not the correct meaning, but in English it is written correctly. Research meaning you have to redo research. It's a search. You have to divide into 2 phrases: re and search. Search again and again and again. That's all. If you are an innovator or you are an entrepreneur, you might invent something that's new, like Thomas Edison. You might invent. That's a different. Here you are researching what somebody has done it. Of course, you can be innovator, you can be entrepreneur, you are noble. But I'm talking about research again and again. Areas of weakness of current research. You have to find out, this is not addressed in this current research. I found out this mistake. Not mistake, rather we call it as gap, research gap. Yeah, it's not weakness, to be honest, but we call it as gap. It means it's not addressed. So we call it research gap. Then current trend. Then not too broad or too narrow. It should be, if it is too broad, you can't address all the elements that are to be addressed. If it's too narrow, you can't even publish it because it's 1 page. You need 10, 12 pages or 5,000 to 8,000 words for a normal journal article. It should have so many aspects. I'm going to touch that later. It should be workable, acceptable to the journal editor, because normally as I mentioned, I am an associate editor and I receive the articles. I look at it, whether I can send it to next stage for review. When I look at it, maybe the title is good, or maybe the inside, I go inside, abstract, okay, or go through. It may not sound well, it may not be giving, so I say, no, I reject. But when I see that, it has got something to ponder, there are some points, yes, this must be useful for the future readers, future researchers, companies, then I send for a review. So it is always ensure that you can do something that is appealing to the editors or reviewers. Doing the writing, this is the very important, writing. Very difficult part is this part. Even research is difficult, but this is much more difficult. How you have so many things. How do you bring it to article? So I tell my students, I have students from China because they're not good in English. I have students from some other countries that are good in English, but they are one of the best researchers. One of my students from some country, but he doesn't have proper. He may not write well, but I saw him one of the best researchers. Why? Because he can give the output. He can give the outline. Sir, this is my outline. But when he writes, or when some of my students write, there are a lot of mistakes. I know. I don't mind, because I tell them, hey, we all use English as our second language or even third language as the communication medium. Don't worry. Put an outline. Use your pencil or pen. Use paper. Just outline. Don't need type it. Just outline what you want to do, like a sketch. Do some sketch. So break down the writing process in steps. Afterwards, you got the title, or not the title. Don't go for the abstract. Don't go for the title in the beginning. You put the outline only. Okay, my chapter 1 introduction. In the introduction, I have these points. Okay, say I'm talking about carbon emission, carbon. So this today, cement industry or computer industry or automobile industry, a lot of pollution, causing pollution. So I'm going to write some points on that. Background. And what is the research problem? My problem today, I'm going to use this kind of materials to address this, or I'm going to reduce that virgin materials or natural materials. I don't want to use a lot of natural material. I'm going to use substitute material. Why? Because reason, you have to give the justification. Why? Considering all the Southeast Asia, 10 nations, this material is available per yearly 10 million tons or 25 million tons. So I have to give justification. justification. So this material, what do? They are dumping in the field, open field. It causes pollution. It causes land pollution, air pollution. Even the water is getting, polluted because of this material. So you have to give justification. That is why introduction is, I tell my students, hey, introduction is a story. Remember, no much technical. Always introduction, make a story. Story writing. You are giving a story, telling like your children or some small young kids story. They will be so happy to read. You need to have some technical points. But when I say story, don't think that is like the story is something bad. I'm telling you have to put in a right perspective. Right perspective. You have to start with, okay, this point, due to the carbon emission, we have, many people get sickness or many, ecological, there are many places, there are issues like this. So you have to show the issues first. So what are you going to address there? How are you going to address that? So that's right. Then break down. Then schedule specific times. I tell my students all the time. After 1 week or 2 weeks, come back. Or 1 week, can you show the progress? Yes, they show some progress. But sometimes I don't find progress. Why? Because they don't allocate specific times. So you have to say, I tell them, okay, the best time for you, maybe morning, spare 1 hour, 2 hours, enough. You can't spare 10 hours a whole day. Maybe 5 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, specified time, because your focus cannot be too long. Maybe you have to assign a due date and weekly schedule or priority list. Start with whatever parts you find easiest. You can't sometimes write the introductions. Sometimes say you don't. So you go to the methodology, materials and methodology. Very simple, because materials methodology you can't make mistakes because you know what you're doing. So use word processing. You have it, or write more efficiently, because this one will help you. Sometimes you don't find the word processing. This kind of, we call it as journal article, structure of articles. IMRAD. Any article should have introduction. What was the question? Methods. How do you try to answer? Means what is your method? What are the results? What do you find? And discuss it. This we call IMRAD. Introduction. You have to have method. You have results and discussion. So result and discussion. What are you going to solve? How are you going to solve? Through what means? You have results. You have discussion. You are going to cite quite a number of people in the process. The structure of articles, you should have title. Of course, we have the authors, who are the people. Of course, don't leave or try to include those who have contributed. Abstract should be the last part. I will always write. I don't write abstract first, because I need to write the article. From there, I can get the proper points to write the abstract, because abstract is 100 or 200 words or maximum 300 words. So we have to ensure the abstract is read by the people. They read the entire 7,000 words, concise, important points from this abstract. Means you have 8,000 words, your journal articles, or 10,000 words, or 6,000 words. Minimum, it should be at least, depends on the journal, but I would say preferably not less than 6,000 words if it's a scientific article. Of course, certain journals require only 2,000, 3,000, that's different. But talk about scientific engineering article. Should have, if you have the results, you have a discussion, you have materials, you have methodology, you have introduction, all these things will make ours 8,000 or 6,000, 8,000, even more, depends on. Abstract is very important. Keywords, when people search your article, means your article is visible to others because of your keywords. Keywords are very important. Just use, say, CO2 emission or pollution. So pollution you will come, but you can add river pollution or water pollution. If you write that phrase, probably that is more subjective, more narrowed down. So introduction, like I already mentioned, it should be literature review. You have to have some kind of literature. Add as many literature possible in the introduction part. Means you are citing probably 20, 30 people or even 10 people. It depends on your methods and methodology. How are you going to do it? In the laboratory, you are doing microscopic image, or you are doing the testings, or you are using analytical tool or modeling tool. Whatever you write, say I use this software to model it and see the process. Don't write. Some of the people are writing the steps step 1, step, no, that is not, this is not a report. This is an article. So article should not have all the steps. Then the journal will be having only the steps. So you have to outline certain things, elements which are important to exemplify your method or your tools that you have used. For example, you are using a particular modeling software. What are the particular things that you have used? Meaning, say, I use the computational fluid dynamics CFD model. So I'm using this software, ANSYS, or I used Abacus, or I used particular software, or any civil engineering software or mechanical engineering software. You have to specify then what are the basic element you have chosen or analysis you have chosen. Then how many matrices you can, so something like that. Don't go in detail because there's no enough space. Result and discussion is we call it engine. Engine is this. Conclusion should be very, very important. But sometime I've seen conclusion, people write, results again here. I used to do that long time back. Somebody corrected me. I used to, whatever the results I have, okay, I got 20 megapascal. That's I write here. No, what conclusion is, say, because of this need, I have substituted that with this material that produced an acceptable strength of, say, 20 megapascal. Number 1. This has a density reduction of this much. This is very useful in the building industry, construction industry. This is having the sustainable index because I measure the sustainability index. Maybe CO2 emission or economic index or strength index. I have to conclude such a way not to repeat the results. Of course, you can show some results, but don't repeat the results. Then references, very important, which references they need it. So you have to use that kind of references, not all so referencing style, there are many, APA, the Harvard, there are many referencing styles. So you follow that numbering or authors, you can see acknowledgement, very important. Whenever you write, your university or your research organization must be acknowledged. And biographical sketch, you need to say, okay, this author is the number 1 and he has contributed. Number 2, who has contributed this appendices, if it's important. These are some of the points that you need to do. So I pause for a minute here before I go to the next point, before I go. So any questions or this, because I have another 20 minutes time. So can I ask any questions or this? Please raise points in case you want to ask anything. Those who don't ask, maybe you can type also, no problem. I can read from your typing. Nobody? Anyone wants to add or give some suggestions or points? Please feel free. Because that's there is a proverb. They say, if you ask somebody, you become fool for a day. If you don't ask, you become a fool for a life. I repeat again, this proverb is a Chinese proverb. They say, if you ask somebody, you will become a fool for one day, only one day. If you don't ask, you will become fool for life. So, I used to ask quite a lot of questions. People are fed up with me. Why? Because I'm asking a lot of questions sometimes. But it's, of course, we need to learn. We need to learn from others. That's why I'm asking. There are 90 people here, 90 over. So otherwise, I have to call by names. In my class, I used to call by names, I know you are professors. Some of you are, very highly esteemed people here. Then I don't want to hurt you, but with all due respect, I want to ask something from you, okay? If you don't mind. May I ask, there is a participant you call, okay, somebody leaving is fine. Okay, don't leave. Valarmadi, are you here, Valarmadi? Can I ask you a question? So you can unmute. Balamadi, are you around? Okay. She's he or she not answering my maybe. Are you around, Malalmadi or Veeranath? Are you around, Veeranath? Okay, there is a question for me in the chat box. Okay, let me. Yeah, is the Veeranath? Are you around?
Uday Kumar, sir.
Okay, Uday Kumar, can you ask some question? Okay, you have some question. Please go ahead, Dr. Uday Kumar. Yeah.
Many journals are not accepting the articles with single author, sir. Is there any importance with author preferences?
Yes, that's a very good question, Prof. Dr. Uday. Which are you from Tamil Nadu or from other states?
From Tamil Nadu, sir. Dr. NGBIT, sir.
Okay,
Mathematics department.
Which university? Which college?
NGP, sir. NGBIT.
Oh, yeah, host institution. Thank you. Thank you.
Host institution. Yes,
yeah, thank you, Dr. Udaya. It's a very important question. That's why I want some questions. This question, what Dr. Udaya asked, is meant for all 99 people. Those are 94 people. So another question I received, what's your view on MDPI journal credibility? Because I see many negative comments of the journal lately. Yeah, that's why I say, if you have an issue on this, I think Kushairi Bakri asked this one, and Dr. I think so, him and Dr. Udaya. It's very tough to publish in a journal sometime. Yes, I agree. I tell you one point, okay? I was submitting some articles many years back. I used to get this always reject because I used to aim for very high journals. Then I received the comments, feedbacks from them. When I receive the feedbacks and comments, criticism, I notice, oh, this is the way I need to write. No, very important. Okay, I also see from Professor Frida Christie, she's also very important researcher. So they are asking questions like from Dr. Udaya and Dr. Kushriri and Prof. Frida Christie. What they're asking, some of the journals, it's quite tough, to publish. So I'm telling you, don't give up. Enhance your quality. Try to submit to the journals that maybe Scopus. Don't try for ISI Web of Science. Maybe try for Scopus first. Then you enhance the quality. What is the lacking? Maybe you don't have the scanning electron microscope or the field emission scanning electron microscope. You may not have TGA, thermogravity analysis. You may not have this so-called other spectrometer. You may not have very sophisticated equipment. Doesn't matter. You may have the compressive strength test or basic test. With that, you can analyze it in different angle. I tell my students, hey, with that test, I had one student. He used to analyze with the 5 specimens, he used to analyze 5 different ways. Means he will put the graph analysis between strength and density. He will put from ultra pulse velocity to strength, this and that, different way of writing. So when he puts a different way of writing, then analysis becomes a stronger point for him. Analysis. So that's why I say, whatever that you asked, Dr. Udaya or Prof. This one, MDPI journal, I have not heard much, Prof. Kusairi, sorry, I don't have much because you say the credibility is not that good. Sorry, I don't have much idea. But however, you try for Scopus indexed that highly reputed, you go for the quartile 1, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Try for Q1. If you can't, then go to Q2. That journals are well referenced as well as cited. Okay, and how to develop, one of the questions asked by Prof. Christie, Frida, how to develop research ideas to proposals writing. So some of like, okay. Actually, from our idea, proposals is quite hard because sometimes there is idea, but to address the funding agency, you have to work, in my opinion, work with few people from your areas within your university or from outside your university. They will throw some light. See, when I ask some people from, say, from some other overseas countries, whether Australia or in America or England or China or France, they give me some idea. I have a research colleague in a researcher from France. He gives me some idea. Oh, this is how. Then I understood some point that I lack. So always I would say, do not attempt on your own only, because our research caliber may not be that high. Maybe you are intelligent, but if you have some help from somewhere, some source, then you might, end up with I would call it as your research proposal. Say I was writing a proposal for Japanese-Malaysian collaboration. So when I was discussing with Japanese people, said, Japanese are very disciplined people. They follow the timing. So I have to go along with their line. Discipline is the key for the Japanese. They organized the Olympics, and still they are continuing the Paralympics. How disciplined are they? Even on the roadside, somebody find a dust or some kind of garbage, they will clean and go. They will not leave the garbage on the roadside to leave it to those who garbage collectors. No, they do it. That they can feel it. This is my country. I need to take it. That's why I say, wherever you work, wherever you are, you feel you are belonging. You belong to them. You are a part and parcel. Never ever leave it to somebody. That means you are absolving from your duty. You are disrespecting your duty. I would say always respect. Be a part of the society. Even you are in any position, you love your job. That means that you will contribute. A proposal just now mentioned by Professor Frida. I must say that I already answered some. Try to enhance the proposal to the needs of the funding agency. So the funding agency may say, "Oh, I want this kind of expectation. That's why I can fund you. I cannot fund you for the basic research. I need only the applied research. So go for applied research. Don't go for fundamentals." Or they need fundamentals to the applied. Then you put both. Some people only need output. We want commercialize. So your proposal might be only commercialization. You cannot go for fundamental research with the basic science and maths and engineering. You have to apply it. So that's how the research proposals are still really. I can discuss on research proposal as a separate. It's very important because you have a you have an Indian collaboration with many countries. Because India is a very big research organization. We have funding. So how to get the funding is challenging. Why? Because we can't write proper proposals. Maybe our proposals are not accepted by the funding agency. So there are a lot of things we need to learn and we need to improve on. Probably sometime, of course, there are points which I can't discuss. Sometimes it's difficult, but nevertheless, you try your best. Okay. Thank you for asking questions. Maybe I go to am I sharing the screen now? My screen is visible to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Thank you. I just go to the next point. Sorry, I will finish. Maybe how many slides? I try to finish faster. I have 10 more minutes. If you allow me. Okay, I will run through. Then I stop. I hope I have 10 slides plus 20 slides. I can run through. Some of the slides are not that. That requires a long time. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, I will just go through this one. What you see here, order of reading and writing an article. Today, actually, I'm talking about the research, not the others, mainly on writing. People read your research. How? Based on what? Why they need it? In the various orders. You can write in different sections. Okay, you can write part by part. So methods and results, discussion and introduction. So you can write in a different order, but I would always say go for introduction, proper introduction. Okay, so it's up to you. It's up to you. I'm not going to say you must follow my orders. Okay, it depends. Title is the one. See, recently sometime back I submitted an article. It was rejected. Why? Then I assumed the title did not reflect the veracity or the subject of the matter of the whole journal, because it's a very hard worked journal. So many details. But the journal editor suddenly say, we reject you without proper reason. Maybe they find it. So I thought, I did not write the title or this properly. So what I did was, I redid some of the points inside. At the same time, I changed the title. When I changed the title, because the title didn't reflect the in-depth of my research or article. So after changing the title, it went to a proper, maybe then they considered for the review. So first thing everybody reads, which everybody reads is the title. And you know that. Nobody reads your journal without the title. So title is very important. It's like your name. Your name, when people call your name, they don't ask you all other, where did you study? First, they know your name. Then only they go to the important part of the search. Is when they want to search, they key in the title or keywords. The fewest possible word that actually indicate the content of the paper. This title gives you the whole content. Should not include extra words such as a or of or this type of things you try to avoid. Of course, there should be, but not many. This is what the additional. Should be specific. You have to be specific. That's where I also missed. Last time I submitted an article, I was so dejected because it was straight away. They didn't even send the reviewer. If they send the reviewer, they reject. It's different. The editor himself rejected my article. So I thought the title has to be revamped because the title didn't reflect proper, even though there are works beneath. So generally should not include abbreviations. Don't use abbreviation like MCP or something like, because you need to give the proper. I saw some of the article, they write abbreviations. No, you have to explain the terms. The title, example of 4 forms. Is it nominal, compound, full sentence, or question? No. So this kind of relationship of interns working hours to medical errors. See, nominal. Treatment of efficient effect of dietary fiber. I'm just giving a title which I found from the internet. See, this is for medical, those who are in medical. So this is a compound, quite a lot. You see, they are talking about the constipation, then they call about the patient's dialysis, and finally they give what is this one. So full sentence, full face helmets provide greater protection in motorcycle accident than other helmet design. Then this is a sentence format. This is compound. Question: do full face helmets provide greater protection in motorcycle accident than other helmet designs? So something like that. So you can have a titles. Authors, who contributes? Who contributes? Especially we normally put our students first because they are the contributing. As a lecturer, as an academic, I can't put my name. Even this morning I was talking to a person because how can you put the authors like this? Because you are the student, you have to be the first author because you are the one contributing. Of course, I'm the supervisor. I can be second or third. You students must be the contributing. Substantial contribution from you. I'm only supervising. I can be a corresponding author. I should be, because universities require the lecturers to correspond with journals. Drafting work, of course, it's the students do it, we revise, and we give comments. Okay, so this is very criteria for authorship. Those who are drafting and final approval, version to be published. So this, these are the people. Agreement to be, accountable for all aspects of this. When I correspond, I take the right to get any problem. I'm taking the facing the challenge related to accuracy. So I'm asking my students, hey, give me the data. I need to see the accuracy. I need the integrity of your work in the laboratory. So it cannot be simply, otherwise the authors, you are taking the responsibility. Supposing somebody giving you, so I've known the case. Just they go to some other country, they copy, paste and publish it. And later on, the university's name will be in a danger. It's very dangerous. You can't just copy paste. That's called plagiarism. I always tell my students, say, check the similarity index, plagiarism. We use a very nice term. We call similarity index. Go for Turnitin report, or there are some other softwares available. Find out how many percentage we copy or you have copied from others. Means not copy, rather similarity. Then reduce it, because the journals don't take more than 20% or some 25%, depends on the journals. 20% is fine because certain words are common. Abstract should be also very important. Relatively, this is what read by many people, widely read. Used to decide whether the paper, rest of the paper is okay or not. You people will read the abstract or synopsis or the executive summary, they call some. Mostly we use the abstract. It's an executive summary. This gives editors, others, first impression. Your first impression is the best impression. So abstract should be 100 words. Some journals, only 100 words. It's impossible to write properly. However, you need to put in a proper perspective. Some journals say 200 words abstract. Some maximum 300. So within 200 or 100 or 150, you have to impress the people. They will read only the first few lines, 100 or 200 words. Briefly summarize. The single paragraph should be single paragraph. We know that. Then maybe it should be organized, paper should be organized. Some journals, they have a standard headings, subheadings and so on. The varies, as I mentioned, it could be 100 or 200 or 300, depends. Some, of course, 300, but 200 better, 200, 250, much better. Keyword should be there. You always ensure that you have a keyword selected from the title and abstract. Always the keywords. People look at the keyword search, then your journal will be there for them to read. Okay, this one we call medical subject heading. So this kind of selected from the standard list you can choose from engineering or others. Introduction should be very important. I mentioned also already that it should be story like a storytelling. You can't simply just give just few facts and say, but it should be in a flow format. Flow means you are addressing an issue. Before that, you give a background. Before addressing the issue, give a background of the issue. Then you go for the issue. Then you go for the next stage. You try to say what you are going to do because of this background, because of the current issue, and how you are going to address. Okay, this is very important. See, questions. What are the research questions? What are the hypotheses? This is very important. Help the readers to understand your article introduction. Then contents could be this importance on the topic, relevant. You have to cite previous researchers. They have done it. There is a research gap. That's called, I said, lack or the gap in the current knowledge. Then you are filling the gap. That's called research. You are not inventing. You are researching. In some cases, main finding. You need to do that. You have to put in info. Then introduction will have few paragraphs and justification. As I said, the roadmap or the gap you should be addressed. Final paragraph, all these, you need to not write whole paragraph, one paragraph, another paragraph. There should be continuity between the first paragraph and the second paragraph. Literature review, you need to have proper literature. Then, it should be separate sections properly. Then give the citation, write credit to the people who have contributed previously. That means you are citing them, they get H&Fs. Okay. Past tense, I mostly use past tense, arranged in a chronological order. You cannot put, say, 2021 first, then you are giving 1980. So after, better you put 1980 first, then 2000, then 2020 in a chronological order. Connection, this is what I say, flow. Flow, without flow, there is no point in just writing because you want to cite somebody. That's not right. Okay. So summary table is, sometime it's not mandatory. Some people do it, summary. I do it because we want to compare so many data, then better to have a table. We call it as comparison. So many things you can't write in sentences. If you have a table, that's what I mentioned here. If you have a table, it's very important because people read, okay, you have summarized from 20 people what they found out, who are the authors, and when was it done. All these things will be the table. Easy for the people to read. Okay, methods or methodology. This is very important because it depends on your test. Why now? This is how you do the research. For the research, other people also will follow. Allow others to replicate what you did because you are use a certain method, American standard or British standard or Indian standard or Japanese standard or German standard. They will try to follow that. Okay, this standard is quite obvious. It's quite good. I have an equipment that doesn't follow American standard. Then you can't use American standard. You have to use only Indian standard or Japanese standard, maybe the equipment from certain countries. But more or less, the codes of practices or code of practices, mostly they cover general. So the equipment is designed such a way. Mostly they follow all the codes. But some equipments, maybe there is, or instruments, they follow certain codes. Therefore, you need to be aware of how you do the methods. Others too, because these methods will also allow others to evaluate what you did. Whether the conclusion is correct, whether your methodology is correct, whether the finding is correct or not, they will comment, especially the reviewers and the people, those who read methods. I have so many points, so you need to go through because I don't have time. Okay, this is general. I'm just putting amount of details to be used and so on. This is okay. This because of the time. Guideline. Okay, how you write, use the past tense I mentioned. Flow chart. If you have a paradise diagram, you can give pictures, tables of experiments. Give the data. Yes, data possible in this. Suppose some people say they draw the graph. They also give the table. It is a redundant. One of them is a redundant. Either you put it in a table form or in a chart form or pie chart, bar chart, or any other charts. If you put both, you are making one redundant. So better to give charts, or because charts can give more information than the table. Table have to be more detailed. So if instead you give in a form of charts. So results are the core. This is I call engine. Result and discussion is the engine of your article. The core of the paper, data collections, what are the things, describe the participants, or if it's say somebody writing tourism, about tourism, like we had just now in Aurora, so maybe she's writing about the tourism, so she can write how many participants, where are they from, even the patients, though somebody are writing from medical field, what are the clinical conditions. So these are the data, you have engineering or science or arts or tourism, anyone can write. The important is writing, very important is writing. Results. These are the things I don't have time to go through. Either you can use the tables and on figures. Very important. Remember to mention every table and figure. For example, what kind of data you provide. Okay, twice as many papers per year. Some tables, and also include most important data. Don't add any data. Only the important data, because you have a specific page. And common mistakes, what we do, illogical sequence of data presentation, inaccurate data, repetition of the data, you don't repeat it. As I said, table and graph, no need, either table or graph. Misplaced information between methods and the results. Some results are there, but it is not reflected in the results. Inappropriate presentation of data, overuse or abuse of tables and figures. You are not properly presenting it. Attempts to draw conclusions. This means you are concluding without proper information. So better you conclude based on the evidence. The discussion part is also, this is the most important part. I have commented many journals. I have commented many articles. One of the reasons that they don't cite. In the introduction, they cite 20 articles, 30 articles. In the methods, they say, oh, we followed American code standard, Indian standards, or British standards. But when it comes to the discussion part, they don't have even a single reference. So what does it mean? It means the results are only done by them. They don't have any validation. They don't have the means to validate their results. So what does it mean? They are just saying that I have done it. Do you have anybody, or can you compare with somebody who has also similar results to validate your results? They don't. So I commend them, because they just want to say what they write. So we have to be very careful when writing. Try to cite as many people possible in the previous, those who have done similar. They may not have done exactly like you. It's impossible. That means you don't have to do research. But similar kind of research should answer the questions in the stated what you have addressed in the hypothesis or introduction, you are addressing in the results, because there's a research gap is addressed in your discussion part. So I have just given, you can do some kind of this, so many things. Common mistakes are we repeat, incorrect interpretation, results are not discussed properly or omitted, conclusions not supported findings, sometimes faulty discussion points. Sometimes they say this is due to this, but it may not be due to that. It may be due to others. That's why we should not give a conclusion or discuss without relevant data or relevant evidence. Don't support discussion without evidence. Don't remove the points. You can say it could be attributed. That's fine. It could be attributed. Don't say it is due to this. No, that's wrong. Explanation too wrong. Sentences people write sometimes 3 sentences, 3 lines in one sentence, or 5 lines, one sentence. Start from Goa, finish in Tamil Nadu. No, that's not the sentence. You start somewhere, finish there itself. Don't prolong the sentences. Starting from Delhi to Kanyakumari, one sentence. No, what for? You stop somewhere. Give the people to read and understand. Always references. This is you're giving credit to others. This is very important. I'm almost nearing the time. Okay, this one I hope references are very important. Cite them. You can use EndNote or Reference Manager, or even we have Mendeley. There are many RefWorks, Zotero or Mendeley. Some of my students are former students used to use Mendeley. They find it's very easy rather than EndNote. EndNote they say it's quite sometimes difficult, but nowadays EndNote also very easy because they made it very easy. So use EndNote or any references. Acknowledge always people who have done, because I said my first acknowledgement was the drivers, because as I said they are most important people and most neglected people. sometimes. So we need to acknowledge, of course, we can't put drivers in the journals, but I'm just saying, but who, we have to funding agencies, and though sometimes you can't add them in author, as they are not author, but they contributed, means you have read them. So maybe you acknowledge them, no problem. Please, financial support, all these things, this one, guidelines are there. There are so many you can go through the guidelines by this. There are many books on how to write. Avoid long paragraphs, long sentences. I always tell, because long sentences mean you make mistake and you make the people confused to read your paper, your article. Subheadings, use subheadings. That's very important because easy for the people to understand. Structure is very important. Common words, when a concise, clear, concise. Recently, I received a comment for my paper also on my student. Since he wrote long, then the reviewer said, "Hey, write concisely. It should be concise. It should be concise. Don't write long, and define the acronyms that you used. Never ever leave it. Sometimes they write the abbreviation, they don't expand it, okay? And avoid this easy. Actually, normally in technical journals, we don't use IRB, but it's other journals. And this one, lastly, I just commercialization. This I almost done with the journals. So this is about ours, what we have done. Some of the this one testing we have done. I don't think it's much interest to you. In our university, we do some kind of quality testing, and just to show these are when we write an article, we will show some of these findings, and this one just to show you. These are some of the people visited us from different countries. They visit ours, they give us lectures and so on. They sometimes we invite people from different countries, and they tools. And so with that, I make you smile now. You can some of you are smiling now, or you see this word thank you. This is, if you don't understand, this is called thank you. Okay, so you must be happy now. Are you happy?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because you thank you because I finished 10 minutes late.
No, sir. A very excellent session, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Since if you have time, I can begin. For me, it's not an issue. Anybody? Does anybody wants questions? Please.
So participants, if you have any queries, so please ask now or put your questions in chat box.
Thank you for your comments. I see Ms. Shogana, I don't know, doctor or professor. Sorry if I don't address you properly. Please forgive me because I don't know. You may be professor, or you may be doctor, you may be esteemed person. I don't know because I see only your name. Okay, thanks. Any questions, please? From Commerce Department also, Dr. Kamashi, I thank you for your participation, even though it's not your area. I'm just sharing from general, but it is. I think it's useful for others in case if you feel it. Okay, thank you. Anybody questions? Any questions? Okay. I see from Gaba. Where are you from?
Hello.
Gaba.
Hello.
Yeah. Please, any questions? Yeah.
Sir, I have a doubt. Is there any difference in writing review of literature for PhD coursework? Like, for example, some of my students are pursuing PhD. They have to give this PhD coursework exam, and for that they have to give exam for review of literature. Is there any difference or different style for writing review of literature for 100-mark paper and review of literature in dissertation?
I have not come across a review of literature for it. You mean you are saying that your thesis consists of the PhD thesis only consists of review article, is it?
Yeah. No, sir. In Ujjain University, Vikram University, we have to go through PhD course, and for that you have to do 10 reviews of or any book or journal. Is it the way of writing is different for review of literature in this academic part and for research?
I don't know, because what you are saying, I couldn't get clear idea, but I understand that you have to have this compulsory course. This is a compulsory for you. Is that correct? It's a compulsory for you to write review of literature to fulfill the part of your PhD. Is that correct?
Okay, sir.
No. Are you saying that your students or you have to fulfill literature review part as part of your PhD work? Is it your students? Is it, Dr. Mehra?
Oh.
Is that right?
Sure. Yes, sir.
So yes, when you are writing a review paper in journal article, you have to encompass at least, I would say, 50 articles, 50.
Okay.
Right, to make it, because you are encompassing 50 different ideas into one article, so that the 50 people's information are provided, or data are provided in one article. You are talking about the PhD coursework, they need a review article for 10. Maybe the number of pages or what they require, because they are addressing this review should address their research gap, or means they are addressing the research gap rather.
Research gap, primarily.
Research gap. So they should select the proper research. And I would say one thing, whether Dr. Nehra, you like or not, I tell all my students, okay, after reviewing these 10 literature or 20 literature, at the end of the chapter, have a summary table. List down those literatures, number 1 to 10, or you have 50 means you don't write 50, maybe 20 or 10. Then write down the main aspects of their findings. Then you mention in next column, these are the research gaps that you are addressing. I tell my students this should be the part of the literature review. Means they learned or they reviewed 20 or 30 journals. Ultimately, they found this research gap, then they are addressing that. Okay, that can be summary form or it can be a tabular form.
It can be in a table.
Yes. But you see, I will tell also another point. If there are 20 literatures, so let's say 20 literature paper or 20 past papers they are writing, all the 20 they don't have to write, oh, this fellow did not find, this fellow has this weakness. No. That column can be combined the column that you are addressing. So these literatures that I have read or this analyzed do not contain or that have gaps. These are the gaps. So that's the way I normally do. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nehra. Okay. Anyone has any more doubts on this? Please. Okay. Any questions? I don't see any questions. Okay. Thank you for all the comments. I really appreciate. And if you have any questions, please put down now. Otherwise, you may. I stop now. Any more from? I leave it to the MC.
I think there are no queries, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ishwar, and others. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation and delivering a wonderful session.
Okay, thank you, Professor Priya, for arranging this, and I also take this opportunity to thank once again all the participants from different parts. I thought it's only addressing your university college students, sorry, the staff, academic staff. I didn't anticipate a participant from Delhi to Goa, from other states. I just thought I'm addressing only 20 people there in your university, that just to give them the research feedback. But now I'm so blessed to see that so many people from different universities or different states in India participating in this. So really appreciate and thank you again.
Thank you so much, sir, for your informative session and providing a valuable time, spending for your valuable time and providing a wonderful session, sir. So participants, sir, kindly fill the attendance link posted in chat box.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Bye-bye.
Ma'am, we can wind up the session, ma'am.
With the complete attendance details, Vignesh.
So, okay, ma'am, I will share the chat box, ma'am. I will put it in chat box, ma'am. So attendance link is posted in chat box, ma'am.
Okay.
So participants kindly fill the day 1 attendance link is posted in chat box.
Before I leave, I just want one info from you, MC or Professor Priya.